This video is long overdue. In July of 2018, Ralph and I traveled to Italy and visited Rome, Florence, Venice, and the Cinque Terre. We flew from Orlando to Rome, connecting at JFK on board Alitalia. We arrived at Rome's Fiumicino Airport and took the train to the city and a tram to our Airbnb in Trastevere. We stayed in Rome for 3 days, but we packed this time to visit iconic places in this Italian capital. In this video, we share sites to visit and things to do if you only have 3 days in your itinerary. So let's go. I hope you enjoy. The Colosseum is located in the historic district in this eternal city. It is the most emblematic monument to visit. It is the largest amphitheater in the Roman world, with a capacity of more than 50,000 spectators in its heydays. This is a site of much bloodshed, where gladiatorial combats, animal fights, and Roman games were held. Visiting the Colosseum is not free, and if you visit during peak travel season, it could include hours in line to get in. So I suggest that you skip the lines by purchasing either an Omnia or a Roma pass. The Omnia Pass also includes a visit to the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill. The Forum was the center of the city, and here you will see ancient ruins of ancient markets, administrative and religious buildings. Palatine Hill is one of 7 hills in Rome. Not far from the Roman Forum is Piazza Venezia. It is one of Rome's main squares. From here, all the streets leads to Rome's main tourist attractions. Here you will find the monument of Victor Emmanuel II. It is a huge marble building dedicated to the first king of Italy, Victor Emmanuel II. A long corridor leads from the Castel Sant'Angelo to the Vatican. If you are not a believer, a visit to the Vatican is still a must during your stay in Rome. The Vatican is the smallest country in the world, yet it is one of the most visited places in Italy. Only priests, nuns, and some dignitaries, guards, and of course the Pope are allowed to live here. The Vatican Museum is more than 13 museums grouped together in a huge architectural ensemble near 7 kilometers long. Depending on where you start, it can take you between 1.5 to 5 hours to visit. The museum houses an extensive collection of art, archaeology, and ethno-anthropology gathered by the popes over the centuries. Don't worry though, all routes end at the famous Sistine Chapel with Michelangelo's masterpiece. Photography is not allowed inside the chapel. Suffice it to say that it is a must-see when you visit the Vatican. At the end of your visit to the museum, you will take the Bramante staircase. It is a double helix staircase having 2 staircases allowing people to go up without meeting people who are coming down. You will enter the Vatican through the famous St. Peter's Square. Millions of pilgrims and tourists come to this square. The square was designed to allow the greatest number of people to see the Pope give his blessing from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica. Two colonnades surround the square, consisting of nearly 280 columns and 145 saints' statues. In the center of the square is an Egyptian obelisk surrounded by two large fountains.
Sunrise, sunset, hopes and dreams and regret. Now it's all the same. Call me out from my shadow self.
Admission to St. Peter's Basilica is free, but the line is usually long. It is best to buy skip-the-line passes to avoid waiting for hours to get in. St. Peter's Basilica is a historic church built over the tomb of St. Peter, the first pope. It is said to be the largest church in the world. Inside, it is filled with masterpieces of Renaissance and Baroque art, famous of which are Michelangelo's Pietà and the baldachin by Bernini over the main altar. You will also see the tomb of St. John Paul II. One of the churches that is included in the Omnia Pass is the Archbasilica of St. John Lateran. It is the oldest basilica in Christendom, dating to the 300s. It was lovingly and grandly restored in the 1700s and has the honor of being the Pope's cathedral. Inside, you will find massive mosaics depicting biblical scenes and larger-than-life marble statues, a Gothic altar, and Renaissance artwork. Our home base was in the Trastevere district, across the bank of the Tiber River. We stayed at an Airbnb in this trendy neighborhood that has retained its charm over the years. You will be relatively away from the crowds in Rome, but you will get the feel of a real Italian neighborhood. This place is also home to one of the historical churches, the Basilica di Santa Maria. It dates back to the 340s and is the minor basilica in Rome. The Pantheon is the best preserved ancient building in Rome. Originally dedicated to all mythology divinities, it became a Christian church in the 7th century. You are welcome to enter. It is free. Inside, you can admire the immense dome and the oculus, or the opening in the dome. It gives the place a unique lighting. Inside, you can see the tombs of Raphael and Victor Emmanuel II. Close to the Pantheon, you'll find the most famous fountain in Europe, the Trevi Fountain. In the basin, there are numerous statues representing an allegory of the sea, with Neptune on his chariot in the center. The tradition says you should throw 2 coins, one to make a wish and the other to be sure to return to Rome. The fountain is always crowded, so keep your patience intact.
I can feel you.
Piazza di Spagna is a charming square at the end of Via Condotti. It is located at the foot of the monumental staircase, the Spanish Steps, leading up to the Trinità del Monte Church. The steps are a perfect place to take a short break for tourists and Italians alike. On the square, you will also see the Barcaccia Fountain. Piazza del Poppolo, or People's Square, is one of the largest squares in Rome. It is a major point of interest with its fountains, 3 churches, and an obelisk. Although we didn't get to climb the hill nearby, you should go ahead and do it and have a beautiful view of the Vatican. You can't visit Italy without enjoying a gelato. The city is dotted with great gelaterias. We had our first gelato at a nondescript gelateria near the tram stop in Trastevere. It did not disappoint. It is best to head outside of the tourist spots to get your fix. Prices could be lower and may have the better flavor as well. We celebrated our wedding anniversary in Rome and had dinner at Vecchia Trastevere. We enjoyed a meal of pasta and downed it with the best Chianti we've had, Chianti Classico. What is an Italian meal without tiramisu for dessert? I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe and click the bell so you don't miss our next videos from Florence, Assisi, and Venice.